Hi, I'm Nabila. Welcome back to my channel. I am pretty old school when it comes to sewing. I learned how to sew from my mom, and I also went to college for fashion design. The world of sewing doesn't have that many innovations that often, and when something becomes trendy in the sewing world, I am kind of hesitant to try it out. I definitely am a sewing pins person rather than sewing clips, and I've never really tried projector sewing, but I don't think that would be really my thing. But I will say, when I started hearing people talking about Threadloop, I was pretty interested because I have recently gotten into knitting, and seeing the way that people use Ravelry is so exciting to me. So on the surface, Threadloop kind of looks like Ravelry, and I think that could potentially be very interesting. So if you've never heard of Threadloop, I don't know much about it either. So this video is going to be my first impressions of the website, and we're just going to figure this out together. So I only know a couple things about Threadloop. One, it looks like it's an app that is kind of like Ravelry for sewing. Two, it looks like it has an amazing database of patterns, which people are really talking about right now because Etsy is overrun by AI patterns. So people are turning to Threadloop to just kind of make sure that the patterns that they are downloading are made by humans and not AI generated. And the third thing that I know is that you upload your fabric to the website and it kind of keeps track of your fabric stash. And that feature seems super enticing to me because I do have a bad habit of forgetting what fabric I have. So I think this would be a great way to have all the fabric right in front of me on my laptop, so that if I am fabric shopping, I can kind of stop myself and see what I already have that is similar and maybe potentially not make that purchase. So like I said, this video is going to be my first impressions of the app, but I'm also going to use this as an opportunity to kind of do a fabric haul of the fabric that I've been buying lately, because I have picked up a few pieces here and there for projects for now until the end of the year and maybe a little bit beyond that. So it's partly a fabric haul, but also it is potentially a teaser for the rest of the videos I'll be putting out this year. So I went ahead and set up my Threadloop, and right now my account is pretty bare bones. You can follow me if you'd like. I do hope to use this app more as I get more accustomed to it, but I will say it's a little bit overwhelming when you first start because there's just so much you can do. That's actually great because maybe I'll become a power user of this app. So after setup, the first thing that Threadloop prompts you to do is add patterns that you might own. So I did go ahead and add the lane pants pattern. I'm a little bit skeptical of this feature for adding your patterns just because for me personally, with my sewing practice, I don't tend to use patterns that often. This might be a shock if you've only seen my lane pants video, but it is pretty rare that I buy patterns. I've been buying them a little bit more lately because I've been making YouTube videos, but I am someone who went to fashion design school, so I can pretty much draft most things that I'm thinking of. And I like the process of fitting things to my own body. That gives me more control in general. So I'm a little skeptical on if that pattern functionality is gonna be really helpful for me specifically. I will say I also have a pattern shop, and I need to put my patterns on here. I don't think I'm gonna do that in this video because I think that'll be a little bit overwhelming, and I don't think that'll be as universally relevant. So I think I'm going to do that on my own time. But the next thing that Threadloop prompts you to do is to log your fabric. So let me show you my fabric. I'm gonna be really vulnerable and show you where I'm storing my fabric these days. Okay, welcome to the floor. This is the cabinet that I'm keeping most of my new fabric right now. I try not to show the top of this cabinet too much in my videos because I tend to just use it as a dumping ground and put everything that I'm working on up here when it's not in use. Right now, it is extra messy because I was doing what I called art camp this summer, and I was hosting friends at a third space, and we were just working on our crafts. So it's really extra messy right now because I would put like extra craft supplies just up there, and I really need to find a home for it. Anyway, let me show you some of my fabric. So yeah, it's not really well organized. I have even more fabric in my closet over there, and it's stuff that I've had since college. None of it is new, and I will say that when I was in college, I didn't really care that much about natural fibers. So a lot of that fabric is stuff that I wouldn't really wear nowadays. And so I try to use it for like any kind of toiles or muslins. I also have some really nice wool that I really need to use. I have been a little intimidated to use it. So that's nicer fabric that I really should use at some point. And then there is a ton of just like scrap fabric in that closet. I really need to go through and organize it at some point. And I really would like to have this fabric join that fabric in that closet someday. We'll see, maybe I'll film it, but also maybe I won't because I could see that being really chaotic and overwhelming. I don't know, we'll see. So some of this fabric you have seen on my channel. I think to keep this more interesting, I'm going to really just show the fabric that you have not seen at all. This is some fabric from a local shop to me, so I don't think I'm gonna catalog it right now. I think I wanna catalog things that I know have an online listing just to make it easier for me because then I can drag and drop the pictures. Then I have some fabric from Blackbird Fabrics. I have this brown jersey and I also have a navy jersey somewhere here. Here is the navy jersey that I have not used yet. It's completely new fabric. Then I have this brown bandana block print fabric from Blackbird Fabrics. And I think from that pile, that's all the new stuff. You have seen all of these fabrics as lane pants. And then you've seen both of these fabrics in one of my lane pants videos. That's some double gauze fabric from Lyrical Fabrics. Oh, I was like, I had more fabric. I completely forgot it was in there. I just knew that I had more fabric than this. Okay, I think a majority of the rest of the fabric is from Lyrical Fabrics. So this is a brown cotton voile, I believe. So for this cotton voile and for this cotton voile from Lyrical Fabrics, I really want to make some skirts. I think the lightweight nature of both those fabrics will make really great skirts. And I was gonna say my sewing plans for the cotton jersey, but it keeps changing. Right now I'm thinking I want to make some ballerina wrap tops, but I don't know. I keep flip-flopping on my idea. So for the jersey fabric, I will say I'm not sure. Next, I have some gingham cotton poplin from Lyrical Fabrics. I was thinking about making lane pants with this fabric as well, but I also think it would be really good as a skirt. So I am not sure about that one, but it's very beautiful. And then lastly, for this order, I have some brown denim material. It is absolutely beautiful and it's gonna make some gorgeous jeans for the fall, possibly. Now I'll show you the other couple fabric orders I made recently. I don't even really wanna show you the inside of that cabinet because it is so unorganized. So this fabric is the one I am most excited about. It's this beautiful rainbow check fabric from Fluid and Drape. This is my first order from them and this fabric is so stunning. I really want to try out more online fabric stores so I can give you guys recommendations, but I will say that Lyrical Fabrics kind of knocks it out of the park for me every time and their pricing is really good, so I've been kind of addicted to them lately. So this last bundle of fabric is also from Lyrical Fabrics and all of these are so stunning. I'm so excited to sew some things with them. So this is a dark wash denim for another pair of jeans. I really want to make some jeans this fall. This is a cotton linen stripe twill. I want to make some ruffle version of the lane pants with this fabric. I just think this twill is so stunning and is going to be perfect for pants. I don't know if it's the websites that I usually look at, but I will say that I find it to be more difficult to find bottom weight fabric. So when I saw Lyrical Fabrics did a big drop of specifically bottom weight fabrics, I kind of jumped on that. So that was another reason why I made yet another order with them. This next fabric is, I believe, a chambray linen and cotton. I will put it on the screen if I'm wrong, but it is absolutely beautiful. It has like this really cool like texture to it. I don't know if the camera is picking it up. It looks almost like lighter on camera than what it's looking like to me, but It is absolutely gorgeous. I think I want to make some pants with this. I don't know if they're going to be lane pants or what, or if I want to make like a chore jacket type of situation. Okay, these next two are kind of similar. It's like a double gauze with like a herringbone weave. So I ordered it in a brown and a green color, and I really like the brown color. I think it's gorgeous. I am a little bit picky with green, and I will say that I don't think this is the right tone for what I was looking for. I should have known on the website. It's not their fault at all. I was kind of going back and forth on the website on whether or not it would be the right color for me. And ultimately the price was so good that I was like, well, let me just try and just see what it looks like when it comes in. And so it's more about me being a little bit impulsive than their listing color being off, because I think their listing color was actually pretty accurate. I feel like I really like green tones that are like more like emeraldy like this. So this fabric is a little bit too light and almost like yellowish for me. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna end up using it. We'll see, I guess. I am considering dyeing it. I think that that would work really good because it's 100% cotton, but I've never dyed fabric like that before starting the project. I've seen people do that online and it works out really good for them. I think I'm just really nervous about what the process is for washing it afterwards, because I don't know if I said, but I was planning on making lane pants with both of these fabrics, and my lane pants get a lot of wear, so I would be washing these pretty frequently. So I'm just a little bit nervous on if I dye the fabric, will that make it a little complicated when it comes to washing it? I'm not sure. If you know anything about dyeing fabric, please let me know. Last but not least, this fabric is absolutely gorgeous. It is like a seersucker fabric, but it has these little florals embossed into it. It is so cute. I got 2.5 yards of this. I am kind of envisioning this being like a two-piece set with a little kind of crop top or tank top type of vibe and a long skirt. I don't know if I have enough fabric for that, but that's just kind of what I'm cooking up in my head. If I had to choose between the tank top and the skirt, I think I would choose just the skirt. But yeah, I'm really excited to work with this at some point. So that is all my new fabric. I think the fabric I'm most excited to work with is this rainbow check. And I was thinking for this video that it would be good for me to go through the process of using Threadloop to create a project and plan my project through there. So I think I am going to make my first project in Threadloop using this fabric. So now I'm gonna go through the process of uploading my fabric to Threadloop. I think it should be pretty simple. And then I am going to work through this project. And I think I'm gonna make a whole separate video of the process of making something with this fabric. And then after I'm done with that first project, I will come back and film some final thoughts on my first time using Threadloop and what I think about the app. So I will see you when this is hopefully worked up and beautiful. Okay, so I have some good news and some bad news. The bad news is I am not done with this rainbow check dress. I got as far as pre-washing, but the good news is I am really enjoying Threadloop. Before I talk about that though, I just want to clarify that this is not a sponsored video. I feel like I enjoyed it so much that I'm a little worried that the rest of the video is going to sound like an ad, but I promise it's not. The founders have no idea who I am. This is just such a powerful free tool that I am now really passionate about. So when I first heard about Threadloop, people were really talking about how it is a pattern database. And honestly, I really thought that Threadloop would not be for me because I am someone who self-drafts a lot. So I don't really need a pattern database in my life. But once I started using the app, I realized it's way more powerful than just a pattern database. I mean, that's already pretty extensive, but I really feel like this is a powerful tool when it comes to planning out your projects. And I think that could help a lot of people, including myself, with building momentum in your sewing. So I am typically pretty disorganized when it comes to my sewing practice. So I usually buy fabric with a project in mind, but then when it comes to what I actually want to work on next, it's just based on like vibes and whatever I'm most excited about. But with Threadloop, I really like that I could upload all my fabric as I buy it, and then I can add a project as just an idea and tag a fabric associated with that project and kind of capture some notes and inspiration and even build some to-dos from there. I really love how thoughtful the to-do list section is on Threadloop. I'm someone who is always writing post-it notes on what I need to do for the day, and specifically with sewing, I write down the order of which I need to sew things together. And I could really see myself writing down the first couple steps of each project, such as pre-wash your fabric, little notes like that for myself, and keeping that in each separate project tab so that it is way easier to just jump into a project and I don't have to sit there and think like, okay, if I want to work on something, what should I do? Also, this is way better than my post-it note system because for my post-it notes, I usually just write them down day by day, but I like that I can kind of keep these to-do lists with each project and not really look at them if I'm not working on the project, but still save the thinking that I had done a little earlier in some place where I'm sure to reference it. Honestly, I really wish I had had this app years ago to keep notes for myself because I've never been someone with a project notebook. I kind of feel like that is sort of what my YouTube is becoming. But anyway, the amount of structure that Threadloop is offering is extremely appealing to me. So like I said, I really feel like Threadloop is amazing for keeping your sewing momentum going. They even have a little project roulette. So if you have no idea what you want to work on and you don't really care, you could spin the wheel and let the app decide for you. I just love that. Personally, if I were to roll that project roulette, I'd probably ignore the first couple that don't sound appealing, and so I'd be kind of cheating. But I really do love that as an option. So for this plaid dress, I did a bunch of planning in Threadloop so that I could start trying out the app. And then I realized that I needed a lining for this fabric. And one thing that's really nice about having this fabric database is I sorted my fabric by weight. And then I noticed I had a couple more brown pieces of fabric that also could use a lining. So theoretically, I could go ahead and order them all in one order. Now, I couldn't do that in reality because the brown fabric was annoyingly out of stock. This is the kind of thing that I miss about Joann's. The lining fabric is also gonna take about a week to get in, so I wasn't able to start on this project after all. But since I wasn't able to complete my dress, I went ahead and uploaded some of my lane pants just so I could get a feel for what it looked like when you completed a project in Threadloop. And I went ahead and made those posts public, and I had some minor issues when it came to how the app wanted to crop my images. I think it's because I'm pulling my images from my footage, which has a horizontal aspect ratio, and most people are uploading phone pics, which are vertical. So that's just something that I want to keep in mind for myself for the future. I personally haven't gotten into the social aspects of the app, although I'm sure those will be really fun to get into. I believe all your projects are private unless you publish them. So I really feel like Threadloop would be a powerful tool, even if you're not planning on publishing anything publicly. It would be really nice to use this app as a way to keep track of different sizes or adjustments that you've made over time. I really appreciate that there are no ads on the website. They make their money through Threadloop Plus. Honestly, I am really considering. I haven't done it yet because the free tier is very generous, but the paid features seem like they could be really useful. One of the perks that caught my eye with the paid tier is that you can upload your pattern PDFs to Threadloop and store them all there. That seems really handy because I am always very conscious about pulling my pattern PDFs out of my downloads and into my actual files so they don't get lost or accidentally deleted. I could also see the import bot being a great tool for quickly uploading your fabric if you buy your fabric online. A 1-year membership would be a really sweet Christmas or birthday present for any of the sewists in your life. I also would really love to support the creators of Threadloop so that they don't ever have to put ads on this app, because it is just so amazing that this app is free for how powerful it is. I will say there's one con about Threadloop being so powerful, and it's that it's a little overwhelming to start, but the app really does hold your hand through the process. They tell you to upload your fabric first to start, and I think that is great. Honestly, I could see someone using Threadloop for just creating a fabric database because that is really helpful to just see what you have and not have to go to your closet or wherever you store your fabric and rummage around in there. Because I know for me, if I'm going through all my fabric like that, I am definitely gonna get distracted. If you watched the end of my last video, I was kind of wondering if there was a good way to keep track of what fiber content is in each of your projects. And actually, I feel like Threadloop would be a great way to keep track of things like that because all the information is already loaded in there. So that might be the way that I am keeping track of my projects from now on. I'm really excited to continue using Threadloop and just learn more about it because there is so much more to get into. I haven't even uploaded my own pattern shop to Threadloop yet, so that's gonna be a whole other journey. I just wanted to get my first impressions out there. Let me know if you have used Threadloop, and I would love to know any Threadloop tips or tricks that you have. Leave them in the comments. And that's all for today's video. Hopefully you will see this completed dress soon. I don't know honestly if this will be the next video that I publish. It might be the one after that. So I will definitely keep you posted, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.